Howdy folks, welcome back to 59 Mile Arc. I know it's been a couple months since we've had a video, but like I said in my last video, I've been pretty busy. Both my kids are in basketball, and it turns out they're quite the basketball stars. So as young as they are, it's been keeping us very busy, and they're doing some off-season stuff, so we've been busy with that. And I've been working on a piano project, as I said, and we bought a bearded dragon, so I've been building a bearded dragon vivarium, and I finally got that complete. The piano project is on hold, and basketball is off season, but I'm squeezing in a video. Actually, I'm going to squeeze in a couple videos here if I can, and then space them out for you. Also, keep in mind, I said a while ago that I plan on uploading some other gaming content. Haven't decided what yet, and I have done some in the past, but I'm just letting you know now because I have a lot of dedicated Flight Sim viewers and subscribers, and if you do see a video notification that isn't Flight Sim, of course I won't be offended if you don't watch it, but I don't want you to like hurry up and unsubscribe or anything, because this will still be a Flight Sim channel primarily. I just wanted to try out some other stuff. I'm really bad at gaming in general, so that's kind of the appeal, is you can laugh at me and watch my misfortunes. So anyway, just letting you know now, because you're my dedicated audience watching this video. I just wanted to give you a heads up that you may see some non-Flight Sim content soon, but it's not going to replace Flight Sim videos. It'll be in addition to Flight Sim videos. So we're back, we're flying again, we're in the Piper. I probably won't have near daily videos like I was 2 months ago, but there'll be hopefully rather frequent videos. I have a new studio set up in my house too, and I'm inspired to use it. So we are in New York today, and I'm panning slowly. I'm using the built-in camera. I'm just using control to move slowly. Very underutilized key command. Usually people will scroll around at normal speed or high speed with shift, but very few people know you can hold control to move slowly. So that's nice. You don't need any add-ons for that. I decided to bring that up today. Everybody talks about X camera and all these things. I'm like, but the built-in camera tools are just fine if you assign key commands to everything. So anyway, we are in upstate New York. Like I said, we're at Plattsburgh International Airport, and we're going to fly to Lake Placid today. We're going to use the GPS approach. And I did do a practice flight since it's been a while, and I was able to couple GPS with autopilot, as you would expect you should be able to, but I never expect anything until I'm able to practice. We will have a funny landing. There's a tree at the end of the runway, so we'll be landing blind, but we can do it. It's a slow airplane. It's not that hard to fly. This is the Just Flight Piper Arrow 3. It's not the turbo. It's just the regular. This is the big update, though. Version 1.5. At least it's been advertised as a very significant update. I personally don't notice any differences, and I did read the changelog, but it's stuff that I don't pay attention to, I guess. But if you want to see for yourself, update 1.5. Changelog on their website or on the org store. It tells you what changed to. So anyway, that's what we're doing. We're doing the G-Tebs livery today. And not much else to say, really. That was a very wordy introduction. I just wanted to say some of that since I haven't had a video in 2 months. Oh, one more thing. We are not flying real world weather, because in the real world right now, Lake Placid is completely fogged in. I took a peek at it, and you can't even see the runway until you're on it. So we turned off real world weather, so we're just going to fly with some scattered clouds today, which is fine because there should be some good sightseeing anyway. We are going to kind of enter some of the mountains. Nothing too significant, but there's some mountainous areas there. So that is what we're going to do, and let's get started. I have nothing ready here except my doors open because I wanted to do this completely from scratch. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to find my mouse. I rearranged my monitors. My mouse goes to the left now, so the other add-ins don't pop in. But there we go. All right, we're going to do weight fuel. This is something that changed with 1.5. So you scroll wheel over this stuff to change it. So our pilot is me, whopping 200 pounds. I am 6'3" and 200 pounds. But I cycle, so that's all muscle. That's what I tell myself. Our passenger, lightweight, 160. Let's do a lightweight passenger. We're going to bring some kids with us. So where you got to go in the right spot? There it is. We got a couple kids. Let's have a teenager here, and let's have their younger sibling. Their much younger sibling. There we go. Fuel should be good at half. It's a short flight. If you want to pause the video and look at these details, go ahead. I'm going to close this for now. We don't need to look at that. I don't think we need anything else. Oh, yes, we need... No, we don't need that. Fuel switches automatically on. I've gone over this detail. I have an introductory video on this airplane where I go over all of this stuff in detail. I'm not going to do that today because that was a like a half-an-hour video I don't need to talk about. Anyway, that's all we need to do here. Let's close this up. If you scroll wheel, though, you can hide this menu arrow. People who've been streaming and doing videos have not been hiding that menu. It's been kind of driving me crazy because it's so easy to do. But just a little secret, which isn't a secret because it's in the manual. All right, let's hop down here. Parking brake. Whoa. I did rearrange a few things. Parking brake is set. Controls to idle. I'm going to turn the battery on, which is right there. I'm going to check our fuel gauges. Let's hide this. We got more than enough fuel. Make sure our lights are on top, and they are. We'll turn the battery off now. Save that. Make sure the trim is set to neutral. I think it's faster if I use my yoke for that. If we do the trim just right, it takes off quite nicely. Recharge the battery if we need to. I don't think we need to because we haven't done any other flights, but we'll check anyway. Where is it on here? Right there. Recharge is at 12.0. It's already charged. Spark plug fouling, nothing to worry about. And auto switch tanks, which is already on. So let's hide that back again. All right, so here we go. We got to hop outside, and no matter how many times I redo that preset, it goes to the wrong side. And where did my mouse go? There it is. I'm going to close the baggage door. And then close that because the passenger door we can do from inside. So if we hop to preset this one, you go up to close. No, you don't. You go down to open and down to close. Shut that latch. There we go. Hop up here. You have a second latch you must close there. Fuel tank. Left tank first. There we go. The reason for the auto switching is you need to switch tanks every 10 minutes. 10 to 15 to 20, depends who you talk to. You need to switch your tanks to keep the wings balanced because the fuel is in the wings. But that auto switch does it for you. Alright, let's hop up here now and we'll do props forward. Throttle 1/4, like that. Alt air closed, which it is. Confirm the avionics are off, or else you'll blow something up. There we go. Turn that on. Nav and what is that? I can't see that far. Nav and beacon lights on. Fuel pump on. Mixture full forward. Confirm fuel flow. Wrong one. All right, down there. Good. Fuel flow is good. We yell clear prop out the window and close that thing because it's going to be loud. And then we do the start key. You just scroll wheel and let go. It'll start on its own. There you go. Confirm that the oil and fuel temperatures are rising. We could sit there all day and watch, and I'm not going to worry about it. We're just going to say they are. Alt switch now gets turned on. Yes, I got it. We'll change that in a minute. Confirm our 3 lights plus that went out up there. Throttles down to 14 to 1500. We'll bring them back a little bit. Make sure gyro suction is 4 and 5. It's just over 4. That's good. Lean the mixture, but don't kill it. So I go right where that little cutout starts. That's where I go to. Alright. Let's see. Sync the gyros, which I have a key command for that. Turn on all the avionics, so we'll turn on the GPS. And that always starts on for some reason. So does that. This does not, though. And that does not, though. Let's just turn that on. It stops flashing at us. And 1. Come back 1. There we go. We don't need it. What's this, out of date? Of course it says that. Alright, altimeter and barometer. Let's pull up our map. Click on the airport. That's not the airport. That's me. Let's zoom in and click on the airport. There we go. Details. 2902. Of course it is because I turned off weather. So let's make this 29er 2 right where the right where the gauge is in the way, but there it is. Right now we do a flight plan, which should already be in here from my practice flight. And it is. Let me just double check. So we're going to go direct to Moonza. And then Pugger, Irebe, Raleigh, OPD, then the airport. So that's the GPS, the published GPS approach. We actually get to climb the whole time. So what are we at now? We're at 250 above sea level, give or take. And we need to climb to 5,000 feet, because that's our approach altitude is 5,000. So we're going to go up and land. It's kind of like we're going uphill, right? We are entering the mountains. Are they the Adirondack mountains, I think? I can't remember. Adirondack, something like that. So anyway, flight plan is already in there. Piece of cake. Let's do our VNav since we can. So we want to be at 5,000 feet. It's going to be an uphill battle the whole time. At not Moonza, at Pugri. 5,000 feet, and we'll do an 800-foot drop per minute. We're going to cruise about 6,000 feet, so we have to come down 1,000 feet. So less than a minute out, it'll have us come down. So there you go, 5,000 feet at Pugger. Whatever you say there, 800 feet per minute. That's already done because it's such a short flight. I don't think we can, yeah, we can see it. There it is, boom, boom, boom. Zip around. GPS approach. Alright, what's next? We're going to start to taxi. There are no taxi lights in this aircraft. If you look, it's just going to be landing light and Paitati. That's it. Everything else is already on. Everything else is set. No icing to worry about because we can't fly this in icing anyway. Let's put these in for right now, although we don't really need them. And where are we going? That is a very good question. We're going out to the right, I think. We'll take off on that runway. I forgot what runway it was. That's where we'll go. So let's do our taxi view. Parking brake off. And taxi away. First set of flaps down. And once we get out here, we'll have a little look around since the model airport. But there you can see the mountains off in the distance. So even though we're only 200 and some change above sea level now, we're going to be flying up there. Up into the mountains. So that's going to be kind of fun. Let's see, keeping the mixture back while we taxi, by the way. Let's see, we're just going to head that direction. We're not going to take the runway back taxi. We'll just taxi along like here. I'm enjoying this. I'm a little distracted because I'm looking at the mountains in the distance and how awesome that is. And how much fun it is to be flying again. What's funny about X-Plane, or Flight Sim in general, is when I'm sitting around thinking about it, and I'm busy doing other things, I'm like, well, you know, I really don't feel like loading the sim. It takes a couple minutes, and starting the airplane and doing a practice flight and then redoing the flight to record it and all this stuff. I'm like, I really don't feel like doing that. But today, I'm like, you know what? I've got the time. I'm just going to jump in and do it. And man, did I have fun during my practice flight. And I did the second flight right after that, and now I'm recording this one. I'm going to record a couple more flights yet tonight, I hope, if I can stay awake long enough. It is past my bedtime already. But it's just interesting how I sit around thinking about it, and I'm like, I really don't feel like flying. But once I load the sim and I get in the airplane, I cannot fly enough. Now that's completely opposite to other stuff. Like there's a few games I used to play that I'd sit around and be like, man, I cannot wait to have some free time to play a game. And I will load the game, and I'd be like, you know what, I don't feel like doing this, and then I just stop. But not Flight Simulator. It's the opposite of Flight Simulator. So anyway, enough rambling about that. I am so chatty. It's been so long since I've talked to myself in my basement for y'all. Oh, I also want to say thank you for new subscribers. We got about 25 new subscribers since the last video. So thank you for your patience in waiting for this video and the future videos. Because I know it's been a while, so thank you very much for sticking with me and watching this one. And not much to see here, and not much more to say without repeating myself, so I will just meet you at the end of the runway. Alright, after what felt like the longest taxi ever, we are finally going to turn towards the runway here. And then I'm going to check the spark plug fouling to see if I did it right. If the fouling is nice and low, then my mixture's in the right spot. If it climbed up, then my mixture's in the wrong spot. So we'll see here. Alright, we're not going to do a run-up today. I did the whole run-up procedure in a previous video, and it takes a while, and we're already, well, for me, we're already 20 minutes into this. Of course, I cut out most of the taxi, but it's already going to be a long video. The flight time is going to be less than the pre-flight time, so let's just get on this runway. We have to set up autopilot, and then we'll be on our way here. Runway 17, that's what it is. Alright, we'll just pull out here and try to be quick before incoming aircrafts have to wait for us. Alright, so let's stop. Whoa, hard brake. Stop right there. Set the parking brake. Let's check that spark plug fouling. If we click here, click on the drop, 0%. So that means I did it right. Alright, so we're not going to do the run-up. But we are going to do... Well, let's stay running. Let's stay running. Okay, here we go. Let's check everything here. Before takeoff, battery and alt on, fuel pump on, alt air to close, props and mixtures forward, and they are. Flaps 10 degrees, they already are. Megs on both, and they are. Landing lights can come on now. Pitot can come on now. Let's turn these lights on too, just because we can, and it looks awesome. Let's back them off a little bit. Trim in the middle, and it is. Heading bug and autopilot. So this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do autopilot. We're going to start with the heading bug and then go over to GPS. So that's going to go to CDI. I mean, GPS. Which means our coupler down here is going to be off. This will go to nav. And heading bug will turn on. Whoop, let's not do autopilot yet. I didn't mean to do that. Let's push heading bug. There we go. That lines up heading bug by pushing it. I guess we'll just engage that. I sort of did that for me last time. But anyway, we'll double check one more time once we get in the air. But autopilot is set. So now we're going to come down here and we're going to start the clock like so. There we go. Let's bring up the autopilot panel just for a moment. I'm going to use that in a moment. Actually, you know what? That's absolutely nasty. Let's not do that. Let's not. Let's just go. Right? Yeah. All right. There you go. Take off. Lift off at 65 knots. Gear up. Flaps up 300 above ground level. Climb at 90 knots. And we'll come back to our checklist after that. So here we go. Parking brake off. Throttles all the way up. It's torquing to the left as it should be. People have been complaining about that, but it's supposed to do that. And lot of right rudder. Lots of right rudder. There's 65. Pull back. There we go. We're airborne. Positive rate. Gear up. We will wait until we're 300 above ground level before we bring in the flaps. I am not using the yoke at all. It is trimmed perfectly, and I'm yelling because the headphones are very loud. Alright, here we go. Flaps in. Sim volume for me down. There we go. Now I can stop yelling. Okay, here we go. Autopilot. Let's just do it down here. Let's engage autopilot and do heading now. And it's bringing us, hey, it's bringing us to GPS. Okay, because when I did this in my practice flight, it did not do GPS until I used the heading bug to manually get us over to GPS. And then it did GPS. So I don't know why it's working. I'm not complaining that it's working. I'm just saying I had to do a little bit more work to get this to work in my practice flight. But hey, I'll take it. We're just going to go right to GPS. All right, awesome. So autopilot has our horizontal navigation. Now, as far as vertical navigation, that is up to me. And what I'm going to do is when we get to 6,000 feet is I will engage the secret altitude hold button that apparently does not exist in the real aircraft with this autopilot system. It's just been added for the sim. So I'm trimming down now to get us to 90 knots. Because that's what I said, right? Where's my... There it is. 90 knots, fuel pump off, and landing lights off, which will turn off in a minute. Still trimming down for 90. We're at 85 right now. Let's come over here, turn off the landing lights, and turn off the fuel pump. There we go. And then we will bring back throttles and our RPMs. So we're going to go down to 23 manifold pressure. There's 25, 24, 23, and then prop RPM down to 22. That's for our cruise, but I don't want to blow anything up. So let's bring it back to 25 right now. We'll bring it down to 22 once we're actually cruising. I'm looking at this for manifold pressure, and that's our RPM right there. So there we go. We're about 91 knots. It's a good climb rate. We're just going to follow GPS. I can't believe that worked so swell. Like I said before, I had to use the heading hold, and I had to turn us, and then GPS suddenly kicked in without touching anything. But anyway, whatever. Well, I don't want to dip down yet. It's probably because I brought the throttles back probably a little early. I just don't want to blow anything up. And what are we at? We're at 3,000 feet. We have 3,000 feet to go before I engage altitude hold. So there we go. We're just going to climb, climb, climb. And then once we cruise, I'll bring back the props to 2,200. And then as we get closer on the GPS, we will talk about our destination and all that stuff and how we approach in this aircraft. So super simple. This is the first time I've used autopilot. It's super primitive and super easy. Let me bring it down here so you can look at it with the right buttons. It's just this right here. Autopilot on, roll, heading, your coupler for which nav radio are you going to use. It's off because it's GPS. Using nav, which now is GPS, Omni for VOR, heading, approach, and then your secret altitude hold. If you click on the Piper logo, that'll hold your altitude wherever you are when you push it, and it works. Like I said, in real life it doesn't exist, but for this sim they added that for you for convenience. So 2,000 feet will engage that. I'm trying to kill time here because I want to stick with you when I bring back the props and engage altitude hold before we do our sightseeing, which we're gonna have new sightseeing music today. I've recorded some new stuff a long time ago, and I'll finally get to use it in the video, so I hope you enjoy it. All the music you hear in the background is all my own stuff, no matter what the video is, just because that's one of the things I do, and I don't want to worry about copyright. So anyway, nice cloud shadows. We're entering the mountains just like that. What's going on behind us? There we go. We got some water, as expected. I forgot what lake that was. Sorry. That's a nice screenshot. Let's capture that for a screenshot. And turn down the sim volume for myself. It's so loud. That's a nice shot too. Let's keep that one too. Alright, let's see. Are we at... No, we're not quite at 5. Alright, so just review what's going on here. I use my trim to get us to climb at exactly 90. Even though I guess it's like 89, but whatever. So I use trim for that. Autopilot to follow GPS. I just did GPS on the CDI. Make sure coupler's off. Nav on the dial. And then just engage autopilot. That is it. That's all I had to do. We're almost at $6,000. Then we'll set our altitude, bring back props, and our vertical nav. We'll double check that, and then we'll do some sightseeing. We're almost there. I just want to quickly do this all with you, just so you can see all the details. And we just entered the cloud. You can turn off the dirty windshield, by the way. You don't have to look at it. What in the world? Are we going to be able to see anything? No, we are really in a cloud. Alright, that's okay. We have our instruments. We're IFR anyway. Alright, we're almost at 6,000 feet, so we're going to click on the Piper logo in a minute. You can do this through the pop-out panel or down here. Doesn't matter. I just like to do it down here. I'm not a fan of pop-outs. I never have been, really, ever since the 3D cockpit has been utilized. So here we go. We'll hit her right at 6,000. We'll overshoot, and it'll come back. I know it's engaged because I heard it click. So it will come back for us, see? And then we're going to really gain gain speed, sorry. So let's bring our manifold up to 23. Looks like I wasn't paying attention when I brought that back. Let's bring props back to 22. I think it's 22. Let me double check. It is 22. So 22 on the props. Bring that back to 23 on the manifold. And altitude has been set. There we go. We're settling in at 6,000. Come over here and check our VNAV. 17 minutes. We'll start coming down our whopping 1,000 feet. And then I'll just zoom this in as we get closer so we can watch this. And this is a weird approach. It's offset quite a bit. So we'll use the GPS until we are visual, and then we'll have to take over manually. Or I guess we could use the heading bug and use autopilot to minimums, but we won't. We'll kill autopilot much sooner than that. So anyway, there we go. 12 minutes to our first waypoint, then we'll start turning around. Not much else to talk about. Our cruise checklist is complete, so all we have to do now is pay attention to our descent profile and flaps and speeds and things like that when it's time. Otherwise, how far into the flight are we here? If I bring the clock back up, 9 minutes in, and time to start sightseeing. So that's what we're gonna do, and I'll see you when I have to do something. Alright, we're about ready to descend here to 5,000 feet. I'm just looking out for Lake Placid itself. It's off in the distance a little bit. You can't see it because of the clouds, but we're going to descend in a moment. Flight time so far has only been 23 minutes, so quick flight like I said. And we're booking right along at like 115 knots or so. We're just waiting for our descent to say descend to target, and then we'll descend down to 5,000 feet, and then we'll engage alt hold again on autopilot to hold us at 5,000 feet, because we're going to stay there all the way until Iraby. So we have a way, so we'll just autopilot help us with that. Alright, descend to target it is. So here we go. Whoop, no, there we go. We need to be at 5,000 at that next waypoint. Let's zoom that in again a little bit here. Actually, let's not. Alright, let's come over here. And we're going to have to hide this guy so we can click on that. It should click. There we go. I heard a click and it beeped as well. Let's get back up here. Let's bring our throttles back to descend. That way we'll stay at the same speed. We'll just start descending now. And we want to be at 5,000 feet at that waypoint. So we have a minute 39 to do it. We're only going to come down 1,000. So we don't even need to be 1,000 feet per minute. 800, 700 feet per minute or so. And we're going to hit it pretty much on maybe 20 seconds early, 15 seconds early, but that's okay. So I'm going to bring us back down, and then as soon as that gets to 5,000, I'm going to click on the Piper again. We'll hear a click and hold us at 5 grand until we're ready to descend to the runway. So 100 feet to go. Oh, we're going to be exactly on. Nice. And there it is. Heard it click. Let's bring that back in. Exactly right on the money. Start descending a little more. So, descent checklist. Destination barometer, we don't need to because the weather's not turned on. Props forward. Throttles back to 15 on the manifold, or as needed. We're sinking faster than we need to. Let's keep the throttles forward because I don't want to lose speed yet. But we'll bring our approach speed down 110. And then at 100, we'll do flaps. First set of flaps. Gear down at 85. The second set of flaps. Touchdown, full flaps at 75. You do land with props at idle in this. And you do flare a little more than around though. I'm having a really hard time using throttle to keep our pitch. I'm not touching the yoke at all because autopilot has us lined up with the GPS. And I'm using the throttle to control our pitch, but I'm just having a heck of a time here. But that's okay. In a moment we'll turn on landing lights and fuel pump. Actually, let's do that anyway because we're so close to ground level. The reason for that, for the fuel pump, is if you have to gun it and gain altitude in a hurry, you can get the fuel you need without worrying about it. Landing lights obviously for safety. Still got to get down to 3320, so we're a little high. In fact, we're about 1,000 feet too high because I'm too busy worrying about other things and trying to dock and sightsee. Anyway, if you look off the nose, there's the city of Lake Placid. I am having a heck of a time here with my throttle, trying to keep my pitch level. That's okay. I've never used autopilot in this airplane before. Can we see the lake yet? That looks like Lake Placid. There we go. There's Lake Placid. And the east arm, or east leg or something it's called, right between the mountains. Man, that must be absolutely amazing in real life. I can only imagine how amazing that must be. I didn't realize it was between the mountains. Let's take a screenshot of that. I knew it was a famous place. I just didn't realize it was that beautiful. Alright, anyway, we gotta come down a lot. We have to come down a lot. So let's bring throttles back down to 15 on the manifold. Let's go autopilot now, which I think is that one. And I'm just gonna fly this thing in. Landing lights are on. Approach speed 110, so let's get a little bit more speed. Landing lights are on. Fuel pump is on. In case we run into trouble. We're just going to stay on our GPS approach here by hand a little bit. And then we're going to move left in a moment. Actually, let's move left now. I'll be more comfortable moving left now. Because the runway's right off the nose. You see that? And there's a tree on the runway at the end that we have to worry about. There's flaps. There's gear. We want to get down to 85 now. Alright, here we go. 85 second set of flaps. Keep the throttles in. Yep, I know. It doesn't like when your throttles are all the way back. It gets mad at you. Well, okay, we want to touch down at 75. So let's keep our speed up a little bit. Let's trim this thing out. Oh my gosh, I'm fighting it way unnecessarily. Here we go. Let's do our final. We're at 79. Keep that speed up. See, we're way too high, but we have to come over that mountain. And we got this tree in the way. All right, we're trimmed perfectly. Nice. We are trimmed for 75. We're at 75. Let's do third set of flaps. Let's bring throttles back and nosedive just a little. So we're going to use our pitch for our speed and throttles for descent rate. So pitching down to get our speed, a little bit of throttle. Now we got 2 red and 2 white. We're going to go right through this tree. Just totally going to screw us up. Well, that's okay. I'm going to go stereo because I got to use my x-ray vision here. Coming in a little high, but that's okay. Let's round out. Whoa. And I floated because I... There we go. Not bad, even though I floated, but it's kind of hard to set up a landing when you can't see the runway because you got 2 trees in the way. Well, that's okay. Here we go. Light braking. Whoa, why is the braking doing that? Look at that. It's like only one brake is working. Interesting. Alrighty. Well, okay, fine. The brakes will turn us. There we go. And set the parking brake. Stop the clock. 35 minutes for flight time. Come over here and turn off the landing lights and the fuel pump. We don't need, I think we actually, what do we have? We do have a checklist for this part. Let's look at it. Stop clock, landing light, fuel pump off, pitot heat off, anti-collision off. Why would we turn those off? Let's keep those on. Flaps in. Let's bring back mixture a little bit so we don't foul the spark plugs. But don't kill it. Release the parking brake and let's taxi out. I think we're simply going to taxi behind that building. I think there's a nice big hangar behind that building. So let's do that. Let's have a look around while we can. There you go. So what's that in the background? Is that like a motel or something? Oh, interesting. Anyway, let's stop here. Go very hasty taxi. Stop right here and come in and set the parking brake. And what do we have for a shutdown checklist? Parking brake set. Avionics have to come off, so we'll turn off that. Turn off that. Let's use my right preset. Turn off that. That one comes off, and that comes off as well. Throttles to idle, they are. Mixture cut off. And there we go. If we come over here and hide this thing, turn the mags to off, turn off the remaining lights, alt to off and battery to off, fuel tank selector to off, and open the doors. So let's see, where's my preset for this one? There we go. And come up here to unlatch it, come down here to unlatch it, and is it, come on, is it down to open? It's down to open and down to close. Okay, let's hop outside then and get the baggage open as well and the static elements and hide that menu. And there we go. It's been a full hour for me. That was the fastest hour I've had in a long time. Not too long for you though. Hopefully you enjoyed the flight. Hopefully you enjoyed the sightseeing with the new music. Sorry about the crappy landing. Did the best I could. But we made it safely, and no one threw up, and the ELT alarm didn't sound, so we're good. In fact, that's another complaint. The alarm, if you land too hard, the alarm goes off, and there's complaints on the forum of people complaining about the alarm going off, and the answer is practice. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. I actually haven't been on the forums in a very long time. I should get back on them. You know, I just look at the mountains. I'm going to look at pictures and videos of this place in real life. I didn't realize it was literally surrounded by mountains. Of course, I should have figured that out looking at my approach plate, surrounded by mountains. But forgive me, it's late. It's past my bedtime. I am going to bed, even though it's only 12:30 in the sim. With that being said, thank you again for your continuing support. If you found me by accident, please subscribe. Stick around for some more videos. Thank you to the most recent subscribers and those who have been with me this entire time. And I'll catch you on the next one.